Hi guys, it's Katie. Today I am going to do my food prep for the week. This is my meal plan for now. We had a ham last night. I just baked it in the oven. So I have quite a bit of ham left over. I'm going to make a ham and veggie quiche. I'm also going to make a ham and bean soup. So I'm going to kind of break down the leftovers of that ham. I'm going to make a stock for the soup. I'm going to chop up the ham and the veggies because we'll have that tomorrow night. And that way I can just scramble up some eggs, throw it in a pie shell, and bake it. Tonight we're going to have barbecue chicken legs and a quinoa salad, so I'll go ahead and make the quinoa salad this afternoon so that it's ready this evening and give it a chance to kind of soak up the salad dressing. And then, let's see, we're having refried beans and we're also having beans here with the ham and bean soup, so I'm going to soak and sprout some beans. And I think that's it. I'm making some sourdough bread, but that's going to be a separate video. But something I need to do for that bread is I'm gonna pit some olives. I got these are dry cured olives, and I used half of the package in another loaf of bread, so I'm gonna use this half for this loaf of bread, and these have the seeds in them, so I'm gonna take those out and also chop them up a little bit. So I'll show you how I do that. They sell pitters, but I've never used one, so I'm not exactly sure how well they work. And also because these are kind of like dried and shriveled up, I don't know if they would work anyway. But since these are going to get chopped up anyway, I don't really care. So all I do, I'm going to show you one, and then you can do like multiples at a time. So you just put your knife like that, and you just press it until it doesn't press anymore, which means all you have is the seed, and it kind of breaks the surface there, and then you can just pop the seed out. You could probably do this with like the bottom of a drinking glass too, but I'm going to chop them up anyway, so I'll just use the knife. So just do like that, and then pop the seed out. And so I can do like 3 or 4 at a time. That. Okay, so now that I have them all seated, I'm just going to give them a rough chop. And I'll just put them right back in this jar for now. Okay, so here is the leftover ham bone and all of the juice from when I baked it. So I'm gonna make a stock. There's quite a bit of meat on the bone too. I also have some other meat in the refrigerator. But for now I'm just gonna start the stock. I'm gonna put this bone in the pressure cooker. Put some water in there. It's probably like 2 quarts of water, maybe 1.5 quarts. And we'll put this on the stove. And here's the drippings that were on the bottom. You can see they're kind of gelatinous now that they've cooled. And also the fat is solidified. So I'll scrape that off, and this is going to give a lot of flavor. But for right now, I'll just pressure cook the bone. So I'm just going to turn that on high. Put the lid, put it on high pressure, and let it pressure cook for, while I'm working here, maybe 15-20 minutes. This I'll go ahead and scrape that fat off of. That's the majority of the fat off. I'm just going to stick this back in the refrigerator, and I'll combine this with the stock from the ham bone. So I'll go ahead and soak my beans. These are white beans, navy beans. I think they're navy beans, or maybe they're Great Northern. Anyway, they're white beans. So I'll do a cup of those for the ham and bean soup. So I'll let those soak. And then I was going to do pinto beans for the refried beans for the taco night, but I only have a small amount of pinto beans, so I will do black beans and just do refried black beans. Do about a cup. I'm going to go a little bit less because we always seem to have leftover refried beans. So we'll let those soak. Just cover those up with a cloth. Soak those overnight and then let them sprout for a couple days. Great. So this is the leftover ham. So I have a big chunk here that I didn't slice up, and then this is like leftover sliced up ham. So I think I'm going to cube some of this up for the soup, and then this I'll chop up into smaller pieces for the quiche. I'm also just going to leave some ham because my husband will be happy to pick on that through the next couple of days. And I have some veggies here that I'm going to get ready for the quiche as well. I'll just put everything in this container. What's going to turn into ham and bean soup, I'll just put that ham in with this broth. I'll also pick off whatever meat comes off of the bone when it comes out of the stock. Let me do a little bit more. And this ham I'll just leave. We'll pick on it or chop it up for eggs in the morning or something. Okay, so I'll also do some veggies for that quiche. I have some red bell peppers, onions, and then I'm going to use these king oyster mushrooms that I got last week. I never used them, so. Alright, so I have all my veggies prepped here. This is what the oyster mushroom looks like on the bottom, so I just cut that off. It's kind of tough. Bottom there. And for these, I think I'm just going to cut them into quarters and then slice them. Like this. Kind of a little crowded. I think 2 of those is going to be plenty. So I think that's probably more than enough. It's going to be very full quiche. So that's what I have for my quiche. And when it's time to use this, I'll probably just dump this whole thing and saute it for a little while so that everything is mostly cooked, like the veggies. The ham's fully cooked, of course, but then the veggies will start to soften. And then I just put it in a pie crust and pour scrambled egg on top of it, like whipped up egg, and then just put it in the oven until the egg sets. Serve it with salad. And quiche usually has like cream or butter or milk, dairy ingredients that I don't eat, so I just use egg, just plain scrambled egg. So I guess it's more like a frittata in a crust, but I like it. So with the rest of these veggies, I'm going to go ahead and chop them up, and I'll use them in the quinoa salad. And the quinoa salad is basically how I would make like a spring salad or a pasta salad. I'll just use quinoa instead, and then I'll put some diced up veggies and Italian salad dressing. Okay, so there's everything I have chopped up. So I did red bell pepper, green bell pepper, radish, cucumber, celery, carrot, red onion. I think that's everything. And it fills up this container like half deep. So that makes me happy. It makes me feel like I got a good amount of veggies in that. And then I'm just going to cook some quinoa, about a cup of quinoa according to directions, which is 1 cup quinoa, 2 cups water, and then you just simmer it similar to rice. So let me get that started. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mix up the dressing right in with the vegetables. And I don't really have a recipe. It's just oil, vinegar, and some spices. So I'm going to use apple cider vinegar and some olive oil and also some avocado oil. Olive oil has a strong flavor for me. I know a lot of people, it's like the gold standard for salad dressings, but I like a more like neutral flavored oil. So I'll use some avocado oil in with the olive oil just to tone it down a little bit. And when I started making homemade salad dressings, I didn't like all of the recipes, and I was using recipes that I was measuring out and everything, and I didn't like them. And I realized it was because I was used to store-bought, which have a lot of sugar in them. So since then I add a little bit of honey. I'm like slowly trying to wean myself from it, but add a little bit of honey or just regular sugar to sweeten it up a bit, and it'll taste more like store-bought. And then I'll put some salt, and this is all just eyeballed. There's probably 1,000,001 Italian salad dressing recipes. This is garlic powder. And then I'll put some dried herbs. You can just put like Italian seasoning, Italian herb seasoning if you have it. So I have basil and parsley. And if it wasn't January, I would add some parsley from the garden, but it's looking a little sad out there, and I don't want to cut it back and lose the plant, so. I'll just stir that up. And you want a good amount of dressing because the quinoa will soak it up too, but stir it up, make sure it looks okay, and give it a taste. Okay, that tastes pretty good. I tend to be a little bit more heavy-handed on the vinegar when it's macaroni salad because once it absorbs into the macaroni or the quinoa or whatever you're putting it in, I feel like it kind of needs a little bit of extra vinegar. So if you're making a pasta salad and it seems kind of bland, just add an extra splash of vinegar or lemon juice or something like that. Alright, so the ham stock is done. I'm just going to strain it. And let the ham bone cool, and then I'll pick that meat off and add it to the other meat and stock. The other thing I have is the quinoa, and it's done, but it's still hot. So I'm going to fluff it a little bit, and then if you were in a rush, you could spread it out on like a plate so that it's in a thinner amount and it'll cool faster, but I'm not in a rush, so I'm just going to let this sit and cool. Alright, so once the broth was cooled, I just strained it, picked the meat off the bones, and I added it to what I already had. I realized it was quite a bit, and I split it into 2 portions. So one I'll use to make ham and bean soup this week, and the other I'm actually going to have put in the freezer for another time. So it'll be the start of either ham and bean soup or ham and green soup or something like that, or even like Hoppin' John's or something like that in the future. I also put the cooled quinoa and stirred it into the salad and just pop that in the fridge until we're ready to eat it. Alright, so that's everything for this week. I hope you enjoyed the food prep. Be sure to leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be putting up some more food preps in the near future. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye-bye!